the structure of the control primitives. And when I said that we're going to handle the various types of resources in the same way from the service point of view, I meant that basically we're going to implement these same 5 control primitives on all kinds of resources. That's why we call them gang of 5. Those are common to all resource types. And here is what you can do. You can reserve, you can activate, you can query, deactivate, and release. Okay, so it's again, this is just a repetition as that was only mentioned by Jerry, but I think it's important to go through this again. These 5 control primitives. So that's why we say gang of 5. The first one is reserve, and that's the process when you submitted your request to the testbed control agent. Remember, to the architecture, and then the testbed control agent goes out to the resource manager with this machine readable description that you submitted, and the resource manager goes out and finds and allocates the resources for you. So those resources are reserved for your testbed. This is a separate thing from the activation. So once you have the resource reserves, kind of an ownership. You have your own virtual resources then. They are not active though, so you have to activate them. The nice thing with the activation is that it is scheduled. So there is a scheduler, there's a scheduling function in tasks, so you can go out and say, okay, I need this resource from this time to that time, from this day to that day. Okay, each and every time you have to specify that. There is of course an option which says activate my resource immediately, but in general you have to define a time frame when you want your resources to be activated. Okay, while your resource is activated, you can use them. Of course, you can query your resources. That's again an important function. You can query the state of the resource, but you can query all the attributes of the resources as well. So remember when I told you that if you didn't actually define one of the parameters, the resource manager will pick one resource from you. So this is the way to learn what is actually the resource attribute that you got. Okay, so you can query and you can see, okay, this is what I got. I have a resource ID. I query on that resource ID, and I'll get back all the current attributes of the reserved or activated resources. Okay. Deactivation is obvious. If you don't want to use your resource anymore, just deactivate it. It will retrain the reservation. Okay, so the reservation still in place, but simply you want to do some maintenance or whatever changes to the resource. You can do that during this deactivation phase. This is at least the plan. As Jerry commented before, in the current version, if you do modifications to the resource will be released. Okay, and the brand new resource will be reserved. So there is no modification on the fly. Later on might be, but this is actually the way. And then we got to the last control primitive, the release, when you say, okay, I don't need this resource anymore, I just release it. So these are, yeah.
On the deactivate, that puzzles a lot of people when you do that. Well, there's times when you have to work on the equipment and you want to let the testbed know that, hey, you're not going to be functional for a little while, right? And so this deactivate function actually allows us to drop alarms so that operations center knows it.